Hello, hello, one, 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 two, one, two, one, two. Okay. All right. So let's start the lesson today, and we are approaching the final of this semester. So it's a little pity that we can't make the on-time schedule for each of the block. But the rest of the lesson will lead to finish an inventory system for everybody. So after we finish the adventure again module, then we are going to move on to the inventory as the last exercise module for this semester. That is because probably the original setting of this lesson is too complex for one semester only. So maybe next semester I'm going to separate part of it into another class. And if you're interested, maybe we can organize some new lesson, uh, some new uh, some new class, maybe in next semester. And as the plan before, we have a demo day, but actually I'm arranged 2 demo days in this semester. So later I'm going to arrange for a draft version of the final project and negotiate with everyone here. Okay. Basically, we are going to implement a third-person character game with some modules that you learn from this lesson. Okay. Then I'm going to think about to let 2 people to form a group. Considering the complexity, maybe I think for each of the group, 2 member will be sufficient, and that will be much more adequate than a single one-man army. How do you think about it? How do you think about? Great, Camila, is it okay? So, Anastasia, how about let's have 2 students in a group instead of one-man army? Do you feel 3? Okay. Uh, okay, 3. So let's make the maximum team member number to 3. So each of the group you may have to maximum you can have 3 members in a group. But please be noted that since this is a program class, so everybody should discuss to join the discussion about the program architecture as the major learning goal and target. But beside that, you have some design work like character design, story design, and the scene design, UI design that could be integrated into this project. And you can get your score by your excellent performance in these elements. All right, so we are going to have 2 demo days. So if you can do everything on time, maybe you can bring your work and upload all the required documents. This time we require a design document, and I'm going to show you each of the chapter in it later. And provide your design document and prepare for your demo. And when you're ready, you can attend the demo day here. Then you may come to this classroom, the R405, this classroom, and queue for your presentation. So each of the presentation, I think, will be to the maximum 15 minutes, and to the minimum will be required for 7 to 8 minutes. Okay, so that will make the presentation from 8 minutes to 15 minutes long. Okay, so when after you finish the presentation, then everything is done in this semester. Then uh, you can take the rest of the lecturing hours for your own practices. You don't need to come here anymore, okay? Because you deliver all the things for this semester. Okay, so for the best case, you can demo on the June 2nd, and after your demo is finished, and you can leave the class. And I'm going to give you some score according to the performance of this final project. besides we had a midterm project, right? So we have two scores. So the final score will be balanced from these two scores. All right. So I'm still writing the requirements for the final project. So please wait for a moment. Wait for me, please. And now let's go. Continue the last project, the AVG module. Okay. So last time we should have finished the UI panel, right? But as I can remember, we didn't have enough hour last time. So for this part, somebody should still left it open. So let's finish the whole UI design first. And after that, we are going to use this UI class and control every element in the UI panel with the help of this AVG UI panel class. Okay, so let me introduce the code first. So um, what is shown on the screen is the AVG UI panel. So as its name, this class is dedicated for the UI panel to control any of the element in it. What I mean element include the dialog panel, include the image like the character image, include the event image, and include the text. We have a dialog box text, and we have a character name text. So with the help of this class, we almost can control everything within this panel, including the very detail of the UI element. So let's make this class. And now we see from line number 10 to line number 17, this is these are the dependencies. Maybe this is not the first time I mentioned about dependency. What is dependency? Actually, dependency means the resources which does not belong to this class. So we have to get all these things. Most of the things are instances. We have to get all these instances from other where. So other class, they know who is the task, and our engine, our level design owns the panel. So we should gather these resources from everywhere within this project. So who will be responsible to do that? There isn't a correct answer. Anyone can help to get the dependency working properly. But this is a very common problem for software, for application. How do you let the program to know the dependency? So you may heard about some method called the dependency injection before. In short, the DI. DI as dependency injection is one of the solution to solve the problem arising from dependencies. But this time we're just going to expose everything. Do you see the attribute over here? Okay, so every time we have a definition for the member variable or member field, we can put some attribute in brackets. Do you see that? You see that? This is the bracket. Oh, let me zoom in. So for C sharp, you can put a pair of bracket and put some attributes. This is C sharp attributes. So when the program is compiled, the compiler will examine for the attribute and do some special things for you. This is the C sharp attribute. So what is serialized the field attribute in Unity? Well, actually, we know that for private member, private field, it's not possible to be shown in the inspector, right? Every time if we want the member field to be shown in inspector, most of the time we're going to declare it as a public variable. Yes, right? But if you define a variable to be private, typically that means the variable will not be shown on the editor is better over here. But with the help of serialized field, a private member would specially be exposed to here. So this is the magic of the serialized field attribute. So we see that we put about 8 serialized field attribute over here, and this attribute will make the variable exposed to here. Okay, and so we can assign the dependency by our own later. We are going to drag the object into this field, and this will solve the dependency problems. Of course, we can write some code to do that, but that is a little bit much more complex. All right, so full screen. Okay, make it full screen. And later we see some show something and show something and show something and show something methods. So for these four show blah 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 show something method, it is used to show the UI element which you can find on this UI panel. The first show method is show character. So let's dive into the signature over here. Okay, we see that for the show character signature, the first argument is a sprite image, and the second argument is to set the visibility. So we can toggle the visibility of this character image. If we set the visibility to true, and that means we are going to show the character we assign. Otherwise, if the visibility is false, then our intention is to hide this character instead of show the character. Okay, this is the purpose of visibility. And next, we see the third argument is the position argument, which is assigned to be center by default. Maybe this is the first time you see an equal sign over here. Did you ever see an equal sign in signature? Probably not. But this is not a difficult thing because the equal sign you see in the signature means the default value for this argument. But please do be remembered. This equal sign assignment should only be happen for the last or the last for the last several arguments. The equal sign couldn't be assigned in the first or in the true or in the front argument in a signature. If you have some default value to assign, this kind of default value have to be put to the last in the sequence of the arguments. Okay, so this is the only rule for it. So we see we can assign the position, we can assign the character position to center or left or right. So later we are going to have a switch to judge the position over here. So let's dive into the method body. This is the method body. Okay, we see that in the starting of the method body, we enable the image. We enable the image according to the visibility argument. So if the visibility is true, that means the image is enabled. And we're going to assign the sprite shown on our character image. Did you remember which one is our character image? Okay, let me show you the image over here. Oops, 2D. Okay, this is our character image. She is now located at the center of this canvas. If you set the position to left, then she will be put over here. And if you set the position to right, she will be put here. So that's the purpose of position. And this is the character sprite. And after we arrange proper setting for the character image, including the enable, including who is the sprite, and including whether to recalculate the size according to the aspect ratio. So whenever we assign a true for the preserved aspect field property, Then the image will be resized according to its previous aspect ratio. This is pretty like a restacking work for the image. And after that, we are going to have a condition on position to judge whether this position is left or right or center. And we're going to put our character image onto the correct position. The important thing to be mentioned here is that we're going to assign the anchored position of this sprite image. We can see that first we get the red transform from this component for every sprite. It has a rectangle transform, in short, a red transform. And the red transform will be represented like this, okay? And we can get the anchor position. The anchor position is equivalent to the pose X and the pose Y over here. This is the anchor position. So we can set the anchor position to 0, 0, 0. This is the this should be put at the bottom of the edge, and we can slightly offset the X position to minus 300 or positive 300. So this is the secret behind moving the character. Okay, I'm going to speed up. Next one is to maneuvering about the event image. So we can change to another sprite image by sending an argument as sprite to this function. And the second argument is the visibility. This means whether are we going to set the event image visible or not. So the method body is pretty easy. It's just the enable field according to visibility, and also it is assigned a sprite for this event image. Okay, great. The next one is show dialog box. Who is the dialog box? Actually, this long rectangle box is our dialog box. So we see that for signature, the first argument is the name of uh, the the name of this character. So every time we enable the dialog box, we have to provide the name of the speaker. And then the second argument means the content from the speaker, the dialog content from the speaker. And then the third argument is the visibility. By default, the visibility is set to true. This means we can pass only two arguments to enable this method. And if we pass two arguments only, then the third argument will be assigned as its default value addressed over here. So this is show dialog box. So as we can see that we just enable the three things, including the box image and the panel image and the text, the text mesh pro on it. And then we are going to assign the name and assign the content of the dialog box. So this is easy. Okay, now here comes the most difficult one, the show choices. Let's focus on its method body over here. Great. So we can see that for the show choices, every time this method is called, we are going to put 2 to 3 or any available numbers of buttons into the choice panel. So how many options, how many choices, and what are the tags for the choices, what are the content for the choices will be passed as arguments over here. Wait a moment, please. Let me close the door. Okay, we see that for the first argument, the choices, it is a list contained all the choices in task and separated in list items. The most common choices will be okay, no good, yes, no, like these are options. And then we have some IDs that represent for the nesting IDs for each of the option. Okay, this will be uh, a little bit complex. So let me introduce the idea behind. Let me find the scene. Wait a moment, please. Mhm. Where is it? Oh, it has texture. Oh, streaming asset. Sorry, scene one. Okay, now let me show you one of my script setting files. I may have shown this before, but let me do it second time. So as you can see, this is like some secret code, but actually, it's very easy. We see that for each of the row, let's see the row. For each of the record is represented in one row. It has an ID. For each ID, it has an owner of the dialogue, which represent to the speaker, who is the speaker of this dialogue test. Uh, for ID 1001, the speaker is Hikari, and her emotion is normal, and her position will be located at center. And for this dialogue, it doesn't have any image events, and it doesn't have any extra sound effect. And this is the dialogue content for Hikari in this 1001 dialogue. Then she will say, "Hey, this is Hikari." And the next we see that for this dialogue, we doesn't provide any choices because this is not a question for anyone. This is a representation from Hikari. So there isn't any choices. Since there isn't any choices, there is also none of any scene IDs listed over here. And we don't have any animations here. What is the animation over here? Animation over here will be like camera shaking or some specialized sprite, like some super cool cartoon effect. You know that when somebody is casting some magic or make some very special skill, sometimes you will have a sliding image, a very cool animation. So with the help of this field, you have a chance to play some specialized animation over here. And next we see the voice clip. So for this dialogue, we're going to play this audio file at the same time. We will play voice underscore 1001. Let me play the audio file for you. Okay, resources, audio. Okay, this is the one. Voice is 1001. Uh, oops. Uh, Let me connect the audio jack. Where is my audio jack? Audio jack. Wait a moment, please. Oh, okay. Nope. Oh, okay.
This is Hikari. Hey, this is Hikari. Hey, this is Hikari. Hey, this is Hikari.
Actually, this is pronounced by AI. And okay, let's talk about it temporarily. And which AI did I use? I can share with you. It's E5 AI. Uh, E5. Not this one. E2F5 TTS. Actually, these are two different TTS AI speech engine. E2 is one of them, and the other one is the F5. But actually, these authors just integrate these two different TTS engines, so you can switch from one of the engine in the UI interface. But right now, it seems that it's still loading from the Hugging Face. All right, I'm going to paste the link to the iStudy system. But before that, let me introduce what is the F5 TTS. So now I'm using the F5 TTS, try to speak some things. So the first thing is to get a 15 seconds, 13 to 15 seconds from one person. So I just capture some, let me see. Uh,
Happy, mischievous, silly, kind of nerdy, oh, and very, very adventurous.
okay,
Happy, mischievous, silly.
this is a speech player. We in Taiwan we call this in this job a speech player, and I just captured the sound from a YouTube, but I didn't record. Okay, this is the title of the YouTube clip. Top 10 most iconic voice actor. Yeah, voice actor in animation. So by searching the title, you'll be able to find the original YouTube clip. But not right now. Okay, and just introduce the text. So now
Happy,
the audio will be approximate to 15 seconds. So now I can upload the audio file to the script. Top 10. So
happy, mischievous, silly, kind of nerdy, oh, and very, very adventurous.
okay, so by simply click the synthesize button over here, you will start to talk something. But you have to put some text over here. Hello, hello everyone, everyone. This is Mr. Fu. This is Mr. Fu. Thank you for coming here. Okay, so let's expand the advanced setting. So we see a reference text over here. This represents for the content of the reference speech. But if you doesn't know what is the content of the speech, you can let the AI engine to distinguish the content. All you have to do is leave blank for this field. Okay, so we are going to uh, keep this field as blank. And for the rest of the setting, we are not going to change. So just click synthesize after we have the text to generate over here. Okay, right now it just finished the generation. Okay, 100%. Uh, let me play.
Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Few. Thank you for coming here.
Mr. Few, okay, Mr. Many and Mr. Few, okay. uh, it's really natural, isn't it? Let's hear again.
Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Few. Thank you for coming here.
Okay, so if you have patience, you can just put all your dialogue tests into it and try to sort of mimic a very special style of speech. All right, so that's it. So let's go back. And the last field is display type. We have four different dialogue. So the four different dialogue types are the normal dialogue, the event dialogue, the monologue as a narration dialogue, and one, two, three, and the choice dialogue. So overall, we have four different types of dialogue. So that's it. And let's go back to the codes. Where is it? So is it? So for the choices, we're going to enable to show some specified option on the screen. So these are the choices list and the nesting IDs list. Oh, nesting ID. Sorry, I mentioned. Let's focus on the option dialog over here. Do you want to play tarot cards? So we offers two options. The options will be separated with the help of or sign. This is the or sign. And we're going to embrace all of the option with the help of brackets. And this is the choices. And for the nesting ID, we just separate different IDs with the help of or sign. So we can see that if the player chooses OK, if the player chooses this option, then he will be brought to another thing, which is a 1004. He will be brought to 1004 ID. So he will be brought to this line. On the other hand, if the player choose no good, which is the second option over here, then he will be brought to the line number 1009. 1009. That will be this one. So this will fork the script to different branches. We call this kind of scenario a branching scenario or a branched scenario. All right, so that is it. If the nesting ID is assigned to 0, that means this is the last dialog of one thing. So if the program sees the nesting ID is assigned to 0, then after player click his left mouse button, then we're going to close the whole dialog. Okay, great. So the third argument is the button prefab. We also know that, and the fourth argument is visibility. So whenever we set the choice panel to active, um, the first thing is to delete all the children which belongs to the choice panel. Who will be the children? Maybe there are some remaining buttons which is not properly destroyed from last time. So the first thing is to destroy the unwanted button which is left from last operation. And then we're going to check whether the prefab is null or not. If the user doesn't pass any prefab, that means some error is occurred. We should exit the method body. No prefab, nothing to do. Okay. And then we are going to uh, iterate to the number of the choices we had. If we had two choices, then the for loop over here will be executed for twice. And in each of the iteration, we're going to initiate a prefab button over here. And then we're going to assign the parent for this button. And then we're going to set the scale and reset the scale to 1. And then we are going to get the text belong to this button and override the text content to the choice it should be. So this is all the tasks we done in show choices. And after that, we need a client to test for the panel. So let me spend for 2 minutes and I'm going to introduce the client. Then we're going to start the editing of the code, okay? So in the test client, we get any dependencies with the help of code. So do you see that? Okay. Last time we using the serialized field to assign the dependency, but this time we're going to use code to get all the dependency. So these are two different manners you will have when you try to solve the dependency. So let's see how to use C# to solve the dependency. And the first thing is to get the UI panel. So by calling the Unity find any object by type, we can get the first one having this type. Okay, only the first one. If you have multiple instances of this type in your scene, then only the first one will be returned. Since we know that there should be only one, so this is not a problem. Just get it. So we get the panel and save to this field. And then we're going to load 4 different sprites from the resources folder. So we know that the Unity has a secret folder. Its name is resources. And please be noted that even the capital letter should be the same. Otherwise, your calling will fail. Your code will be failed. The R is in capital letter. Resources. This is a plural. So we can access all the everything is in the resources folder. So in resources folder, I have a textures, characters, Hikari, normal.png. Here we can omit the file format. Just write the main file name for it and get it as a sprite. And after that, after we have four sprites, we're going to load the prefab. So I just put the prefab over this folder, and the name is choice button. But you don't have to type the file extension. So just omit the file extension in your code. You just have to type the main name of the file, the choice button. Okay, that solved all the dependencies. And then we have a huge event else. Actually, I don't write any else. All of these conditions are if. If we press 1, we're going to show Hikari. If we press 2, we're going to show another character, Akane. If we press 3, none of the character will be shown. We're going to pass a null as the sprite, and we're going to set the visibility to false. Somebody will ask, hey, Mr. Fu, why? Why on this line, in this line, you call the show character with one argument, but on this line number 33, you call the same method with two arguments. Why? Why? Maybe you should already know the answer because the second argument has the default value. So even if you don't assign the second argument, your code will help to assign default value for you. Great. And then for line number 37, we show the dialog box for Akane, and she will say hello world. Next one. For test condition 5, we're going to show Hikari and say how are you. Actually, each of the number here is the number for test case. So for software engineering, every time we finish one structure or one module, we're going to assign several test cases for the module. But this time, since we are in Unity, we just simply use the get key down to test our module, test our UI panel. So next one is to hide all the dialog box. So next one is to show the event image, event 01. And the next showing the event 02. And next hiding all the events over here. And next set the choices to yes and no. And the last one is to hide all the choices. So that's it. That's everything in this exercise. Okay, now we can take about 10 minutes in and to exercise to edit all the code over here. I need your help to understand each method body which we listed over here. I think this is intuitive. So let's start the work. And if you finish the task, you can have a coffee break. So let's come back on 10 minutes past the 2 o'clock, okay? 哦，对啊，对啊，要看一下丢出去了。
那我问一下，我去丢，就是投稿到英文字上面吗？
没关系，我先直接帮你丢看看。他如果叫我自己丢，
好好好。如果我自己丢的话，是需要推荐信。
哦，应该系统可能没办法，不过没关系，我应该就问他一下，我直接丢了。
好，OK，
It's weird. My system time is locked. How come my system? Most of the students who following the thread has already finished the UI panel. Okay, now let me move on to the next topic. All right, so now we are going to integrate all the things you have learned from the starting of this semester. We are going to make some finite state machine into a special visual effect, which is called a typewriter over here. So maybe you have some experience about playing an AVG game, and every time a new text is shown onto the screen, each of the letter of this sentence is shown gradually, will be shown in some fixed interval. For example, in each of 0.2 seconds, uh, that means 200 milliseconds, with the interval of 200 milliseconds, letter will be printed on the screen, each by each, gradually, to finish the whole text. So this kind of effect is called typewriter. Without the help of finite state machine, we are going to deal some difficulties to implement this feature. But since now we know how to make a finite machine, making a typewriter is very, very easy and clear. So later we are going to teach about how to make a typewriter finite state machine. Okay, let's do it. But before that, we are going to make a stateless. That means no FSM. In a very easy effect called the fade in and fade out. So let's take a look over here. Effect modules work as automated subsystems. That means whenever we hook the effect module onto a component, we can leave it alone. Without the help of maneuvering operation, it can work properly without us. So that's automated subsystem. And it brings such a cool effect. You'll definitely like it. It checked the current status of the UI panel and added the UI panel without noticing to anybody. So it will directly optimize and edit the opacity for you. If you want the fade in effect, the module just modify the opacity gradually for you. Everything is automated. All right, so for the following options, we are going to temporarily skip it because I think when you finish the exercise, you definitely know the details of it. Okay, so that's it. We're going to find the character image. So this is our beautiful and cool image, the sprite image, and we're going to append a broader component for it. The broader component is called the UI image fader. And just like we can see that there is only one field for setting this component, that is opacity delta. What does this opacity delta doing for? It just gradually added this delta value onto the current opacity. So if the current opacity is 0, then for each tick, the opacity will grow for 0.03. This is a very slight deviation, and it will make the sprite much opaque in each of the tick. So this is the everything. This is the whole program we written for the UI image fader. So now let's dive into the code blocks. So as usual, we put all the dependencies and variable definition over here. Here we want an image. This is the UI fader. So actually, do we really need an image? Wait a moment. We didn't do anything with the help of image. So I think the image could be neglected or just deleted. Delete the line over here. We don't need the image. Okay, line number 7 just assign the opacity alpha. So sorry, opacity delta. The opacity delta with the beginning initialize the value for 0.04. But we can modify this value in the editor. The editor value is the dominant value. No matter what value you write over here, always this value is always dominated by the inspector value. Sorry, not right now. I didn't implement the code. Okay. Next one is the speed. The speed value specify whether are we going to increase or decrease the fading effect. So the speed value later will be either +1 or -1. So let's take a look at it here. We're going to multiply the speed and the opacity delta. So the opacity delta is the absolute value which describes how fast is the phase in or fade in or the fade out. On the other hand, the speed only addresses for positive or negative component for the overall value. So we separate the component into two variables over here. So let's take a look. Each of the tick, we get the color setting from the sprite image. Oh yeah, we do need the image because we're going to read the color setting of the image. Sorry, we can't delete this line. Sorry. And after we get the color setting, we just need to modify the opaque. That is the A value belongs to the color. So we make a addition over here. Take a look at here. We just read the A value from the temp color and add a very small delta onto it. And the small the small delta, the delta value will be composed of the speed and the opacity delta like this. And then we are going to write back the A value back to the image color. So that's it. That's it. So every time we add a little value on into the opaque A value. And then we're going to see the trigger fade. This is a proprietary method we designed. So we can call this method from outside of this class. So whenever we call this method, the instance of this class will start to do something. The things are listed over here. So whenever we call the trigger fade, we have to pass two arguments over here. The first argument is the direction, and the second argument is the boolean, which address whether to reset the opacity before we doing anything. So if we want to do a fading with the help of this restart settings, whenever we set the restart to true, and now we're doing the fading, that means we have to roll back the opacity to 0, and then grows the opacity to 1. So that is the meaning of restart. Right. So if the restart is set to true, then the first thing is to roll back the opacity. So whenever the direction is true, that means we are making a fading. Since we are now making a fading, the initial value it should be 0. So here we see a ternary operator over here. I think this is intuitive for everybody. And then we are going to set the speed according to the direction. And we know that the speed value will either be 1 or -1. Okay, so it depends on whether the direction is true or false. If the direction is true, then the speed will be 1. Otherwise, the speed should be -1. And we also design another method called stop fade. Every time somebody calls the stop it method on this instance, then the speed will set to 0. That means that everything will be stopped because the deviation since the speed will be introduced as a 0. So the turnover here will always be 0. So that will stop the fading or fade out process. Easy. So after you finish this class, I mean the UI image fader class, after we have this fading UI fading class, sorry, the UI image fader class, we're going to attach the component to the character image. And whenever we need a fading, we just trigger the method on this class. So this is an example to do that. We know that we have a show character method belong to your UI panel, right? So before we just loaded the image without doing anything. But this time, whenever we load the character image, we also coded the trigger fade. And with the help of the trigger fade, the image will start to fade. The same design happens to the show event method. Whenever we load an image, uh, whenever we load the event image into the sprite, we also coded the trigger fade. But please we know that we have to add this component to the event image before we call it. Otherwise, this will get a null. So please do remember to put a component. So this will be the fade in, fade out effect. So every time the character shows on screen, you will see a very short fade in effect. And you don't need to take care about anything because every time you trigger the fade, it just play the fade. Okay, cool, right? All right, so now let's take about 5 minutes to finish the code. Oh no, 10 minutes. Okay, let's take about 10 minutes to finish the code.
Hey, this is Hikari. I'm a magician. You want to play tarot cards? That is sad for. Hey, this is Hikari. I'm a magician and fortune. You want to play tarot cards? Great. Please choose one card for.
Hi, I'm making every Wednesday.
Yes. Move on. Mhm. Okay. Actually, you can design this script with the help of ChatGPT, which is a hot this morning. In this morning, ChatGPT just halt for several minutes for its services, and everybody's crying on Facebook. Oh, of course, since ChatGPT knows how to write a code, so you can provide your need, and probably you can just hide all the codes over here and ask ChatGPT to finish the code. That is really interesting. And we can take a examination over here right now. Okay, we can check the function over here since ChatGPT now is recovered and on service right now. Now, I just open my ChatGPT. Saying that I'm making a Unity. I'm making a Unity adventure game, AVG game, right? And just copy this effect module, and I'm planning to make a C# component as a effect module for me. No, it's okay. As a effect module, and I just copy this page, and I'm going to open my GIMP image editor. Just hide all the code with a black box over it. But before that, I would like to show the method name to my ChatGPT. Just let him know the method names. Okay. Please uh, finish the code for me. Okay, it just finished code. I think it catch my idea, and if you paste the code back to Unity, it should work properly. So let me examine the code. It just initialize the current alpha, just like what we have done. And every time in update, it just code, it just um, predict it just judgment the condition. The condition is fading. So if now is fading is true, then we're going to call the perform fade method. So what is in perform fade? In perform fade, we just add a little delta to the current alpha, and just like what we had done in our code. So if the alpha surpass the one, that means the fading should be finished. It just called the start fade. For start fade, just the turn off the is fading. Uh, we can take this boolean as a flag. The idea of flag is frequently introduced in this lesson, right? And the trigger phase just if the restart is set true, then we start phase for the first and roll back the opacity and set the phase speed. So this is equivalent to what we have written in our PowerPoint. I think it should work properly, but if you are interested, you can paste the code back. Okay, but right now I'm going to take it as an example for everybody, which is taking LLM as a coding assistant for you. So recently I spent some hours on researching how many new LLMs are available. One of the free solution is called what's the name? DeepSeek. Let me turn off with my Unity. Let me turn off. Okay. I found that on some rankings about the ability of code LLMs, DeepSeek is one of the top five, and DeepSeek is free. You can run DeepSeek model on your computer. You don't need to log into any web services. So you can install a Olama, which is the right now the most popular Olama. This is also a free application. Cute, right? So I also have an Olama running on my computer. So I can use command to Olama uh, Olama list. Olama list. I installed two different models. One is for chatting in Chinese, and the other one is DeepSeek. It helps my coding. So this is my DeepSeek coder. I can Olama run this one. So how to find and install models? You can find models on the official page of Olama. The installation is easy. It's a one button installation. I think you can easily install on your computer. And after you install the Olama, you can download models from the model page. So there are too many models, just like you see. Um, because my native language is Chinese, some models like Quen is for Chinese. So, but if you prefer English, there are a lot of nice models like the Llama 3.3. Oh, it's over here. This one is provided by Meta, and you can download the model. But before that, please be aware some model is really large, like Llama 3.3 is 70 billions parameters. That means you have to prepare for 70 gigabytes VRAM. That is impossible for uh, any student. So there are some Llama 2, Llama 3.2. For Llama 3.2, you have a 3 billion version, which definitely could be run on your computer. But of course, it will be a little bit not so smart. For the coder, we have DeepSeek, so we can seek DeepSeek, 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 DeepSeek coder. Okay, just like we see on the page, for DeepSeek Coder, we have several levels of model. We have 1.3 billion parameters. We have 60.7 billion, and we have 33 billions. That's not possible to run on my computer. So maybe you can download the 6.7 billion DeepSeek Coder, and it's very nice for coding. I tried before. You can reply the student's coding question for you. But ChatGPT is still excellent for this kind of offline models. It's just sufficient for our daily tasks. But sometimes you need to try for several times. It couldn't be hit the target for just one trial. Sometimes try more, just try more. All right, that's additional knowledge for everybody. That's what I like to share with you because I spent a little bit hours on it. So let's go back. Mhm. Interesting, right? ChatGPT can write a code, and sometimes I can write the 200 lines of code to operate a database. I found the LLMs can do it perfectly. Sometimes it just needs some tweak, some little modification. But you can take some time to negotiate with the LLM. It still can finish the job. Okay, great. Next. All right. Next is the typewriter, which is a medium to hard topic in our lessons. Okay, we're going to make our typewriter like this. Initially, the typewriter will be in post state. In post state, it will do nothing. It will have an empty method body, empty state method body. And if somebody trigger, or I should say load some context into the dialog box, then we are going to also turn the typewriter on. So this time, the typewriter will be turned from pause to typing state. So whenever the typewriter is on the typing state, it just count the time interval to check whether now is stating the typing interval and it should type some letters on the screen. So this is in typing state. So whenever the whole content, I mean the whole sentence is finished typing, then the typewriter will go to the finished state. And on the finished state, it will also do nothing, but it will load for once the whole content when it enters the finish state. So, sorry. If the user or the player loads another dialog context into the content and also trigger the typewriter again, then the typewriter will go back from finish state to typing state. So it will always circulate within the typing and finish states. Okay, that's a very simple FSM. I think you should understand because we implement the bulb. Do you remember that the bulb? All right. So after we design the finite state machine, now we are going to plan for the class hierarchy. This is our class hierarchy. So we are going to finish two type of typewriter. The simplest type is normal typewriter. It just gradually puts character on the screen, nothing else. Vanilla typewriter. And the second one is a wave typewriter. What is a wave typewriter? Okay, this is a cool thing. Let me show you. Let me show you the effect. All right, whenever I trigger the information,
Hey, this is Hikari. I'm a magician and fortune teller who knows your future life.
you can take a look at the last character it puts.
Do you want to play tarot cards?
So the character seems like bouncing, right?
Great.
Bouncing.
Please choose one
Actually,
card.
this is gradually scaling from a bigger size to a smaller size and drop from the top to bottom. Just like something dropping from the air and landing to the ground and gradually grow, shrinking from a bigger size to a smaller size. So this is what we call wave typewriter in this example. Even though uh, it needs a finite state machine to control it, it's not so intuitive. All right. So this is the structure. We can switch between these two types of typewriter. So we declare an abstract interface, which is called I typewriter strategy. We consider this kind of logic strategy, and we can switch the strategy in our effect code. We hold a finite state machine over here, which also owns any one of the strategy. Whenever it needs someone to tell, hey, what is the actual method body of your effect, then it will search for the real codes. It depends on which actual solid type it has in its dependency. So let me introduce the interface first, the iTypewriter strategy. We can see the iTypewriter strategy over here. The I indicates for interface, and we are going to use an abstract class to implement the interface. So somebody may ask that, Mr. Fu, why aren't you using the interface of C# to make this interface? Well, that is because uh, if we use the interface to implement the typewriter strategy, then we can hold any variable. But since now we don't use any variable, that is also a valid solution for us. Okay, well, this is my personal hobby. Okay, actually, I prefer abstract class the most. Sometimes I also use interface, but it depends on my preference, personal preference. So you may use interface on your own. All right, so I use the abstract class. Since I use abstract class, all of the member method should also be declared as an abstract class. Otherwise, you have to provide the solid method body for it. You can provide a solid method body right now, but right now I don't have any idea. So why not just put the abstract over here? Mhm. And later, when you have a more solid idea about what kind of the children it should be implemented, and then you implement the method body. Okay, so temporarily put all the method as abstract method, and we are going to make this method public so somebody can call it. Who is the somebody? it is the somebody. Later, we are going to use typewriter effect to call one of these four methods. Mhm. That's the plan. Okay, so what is the prepare text and process text? Let me introduce. This is a time chart for my typewriting. So starting from time 0, um, on the interval on the moment of time 0, I just type one letter of H on the screen, and then I'm going to wait for 0.2 seconds, uh, namely 200 milliseconds. And in the moment of waiting, I also do some check. The check is frequently happen. It should happen is 60 times in 1 second. And whenever I am planning to check something or prepare for something, I always call the prepare. I always call the prepare task method during the 200 milliseconds over here frequently. And if the time interval is reached and I have to put the next character, I will let the task to be done with the help of process task method. So one is regularly called, the other is intervally called. So this differentiate these two methods. One is prepare, the other is process. Prepare is called every time the tick is moving on, but the process will be only called on certain interval. Okay, great. So the process is responsible to put the new character. And the prepare is taking the responsibility of making the new character morphing or showing some effect. So that's the idea behind. So this concludes the two methods over here. The third method is complete. What is complete? Current index, full index. Sorry, what is complete? Let me check. Okay, is complete is the check method. If somebody is willing to know whether right now the typewriting is complete or not, then you just need to call this method. This method will return a boolean value which indicates whether or not the typewriter is working or not. Okay, so this is the is complete, and the last one is get type speed. Just like we planned before, the interval is by default set to 200 milliseconds, right? But sometimes we want to tweak this typing value. So we're planning to do that. We're planning to set the typing speed in the constructor. So every time we new an instance of this class, this is the only chance we set the type speed. If we miss the chance, we have to delete this instance and create a new instance again. Because by creating a new instance, we are able to call the constructor only at this moment. So whenever we new an instance and later we want to know, okay, how fast are we going to type? Then we can call the get type speed of this instance to get the type speed value, which is the member variable belongs to this instance. Okay, that's it. So that's the plan. Next, before that, we have to intercept a new user intention from the help of input manager. We know that when the typing is not finished, sometimes we hope to close the typing as fast as possible, right? Because sometimes we are not willing to wait for the typewriter. It's tedious. I just want to see the whole context. So we have to offer one action for our user. So I'm calling this action a dialog click. This is a new action I introduced to the input system. So I have to add an event dialog click in my input manager and do the same thing to the previous design. Just like we can see, we also add a calculate dialog click abstract method, and this is template design pattern, right? Template design pattern. We mentioned about it before. Template. So we introduced another process calculation method into the template series. So this is it. Okay, next. We changed the input manager as a parent class, and of course we want to modify the corresponding part in the children keyboard input manager. So we have to implement this abstract class and be aware of the override keyword over here and calculate the dialog click. In the calculate dialog click method, we just detect the mouse zero key. Who is the mouse zero? Mouse zero is your left mouse button. Left mouse button. And whenever it is pressed, the dialog kick will be true, otherwise be false. And we just pass this boolean to the subscriber method. Okay, next. Now that we have a chance to know whether the left mouse button is pressing or not, and we are going to implement the top normal typewriter. Bear with me, sorry, I need 2 minutes more. So this is the constructor. In the constructor, we just assign the type speed. And then this is the process task and the prepare task. We know that prepare task is a regular called um, the green arrow. Did you remember the green arrow? Okay, this is prepare. Okay, in the prepare task, we just substring. Substring is a string slicing method, and it works like this. Now we are typing the current index character, but before this character, everything should be shown on screen. So I have to show the character number 0, character number 1, character number 2, blah, 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 to character number current index -1. So this is the character I have to strip off from the original full text and show onto the screen. So with the help of substring method, I can starting from index 0 to slice this number of character from the full text. So after I get the sliced string, I just return the sliced string back to the caller, and the caller will show the partial of the full text onto the screen. So uh, astonishingly, process test is doing the same thing. Because this is a normal effect, actually no effect. So no, so of course the process doing the same thing to the prepare. They are doing the same thing. And next, let's see the is complete. For the is complete, it just shows whether the typing is finished or not. So by simply check the current index with the full text length, we can know that whether are we still typing or not. Okay, next is the get type speed. Okay, this is very simple. Just return the type speed to the user. All right. And the typewriter effect, this is the FSM, a little bit complex. So after a 10 minutes coffee break, we are going to introduce the most complex part, the typewriter effect. Okay, before that, let's take a coffee break. 哦，来来，先放那边。大的。好。
好，应该可以了。
我也是，嗯。
update the codes。
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just upload an updated version of chapter number 8 onto our iStudy. For some part of the provided code, we just found some small errors in the local students class. So we just update the PowerPoint slide, and sorry for that. I need your help to download and refresh the chapter 8 PowerPoint slide again. The most important modification is over here. The interface should be declared as public. Otherwise, the other class, especially for our FSM, will not be able to access all these four APIs. Okay, so now we just have a series of strategy pattern, including the interface pattern, the iTypewriter strategy, and its and its children. The children's are the wave typewriter and the normal typewriter. And we just finished the normal typewriter without the help of some complex design. That is very cool. But next, we're going to talk about the FSM, the typewriter effect we just introduced. It is a three-stage FSM. So let's check the code in the method body. So starting from line number 7, we declare three states. They are paused, typing, and the finished. So we introduce the three state in this slide, in this page. Just like we said before, initially it will be in pause the status, and whenever somebody is trying to type, it will enter the typing state. And whenever a dialog text is finished, it will enter the finished state and waiting for next line, waiting for next line of script. So load a script and type a script, load a script and type a script, load a script and type a script. The machine will forever running between these two states. Okay, that's the design. So let's now coming back to the typewriter effect. So please don't be scared because these are dependencies. A lot of code is just solve the dependencies problem and just assign the instance to the corresponding field. Don't be afraid of the code. There isn't any heavy logic in the dependencies solving. So we can see that we assign several dependencies. The most important one is the input manager and the onType complete. The input manager is the same one we had implemented for our character controller. So you can see that we bundle all the input information into this class. Without the help of this pattern, you will always call input get key, input get key, input get key at different places. And for several months later, you will definitely forget where you have put so many input get key lines in your whole project. So that's the input manager. And the on action, the action on type complete um, is a proprietary uncompleted subscriber message. Sorry, subscriber method. If you have a method to hook onto the event, you can assign the action in the field over here. Okay, so now let's move on. In the awake part, we just solve the dependencies and assign the initial strategy. We assign the normal typewriter as the initial strategy, and then initialize our finite state machine. We'll go to the post state as the initial state. Okay, simple. And then we have several methods which acting as a member method. And let's check the first one. The first one is on dialog click. This is on a subscriber method, which we are going to hook this method onto another event. So okay, it's over here. We see that on line number 27. Line number 27 over here. Um, we introduced a new event called the event dialog click. So we can add a subscriber to this event by calling the add listener provided by C Sharp. We can add this on dialog click method as a subscriber action to this event. And whenever somebody is pressing left key, let's see what will happen. The first thing is to check whether this typewriter is enabled, because even if this component is disabled, all the member method should still be callable. So whenever we receive on click, on dialog click, we should check whether this component is enabled or not. When when the component is not enabled, all the state machine is not running. Okay, and then we are going to check whether the passed argument is true or false. If the pressed is true, that means somebody is holding our left mouse button, and we should do something. And if the current typing status is state typing, that means we had loaded some sentences into the dialog box, and now we're trying to print it onto the screen. So we should finish typing, and we should close the typing ASAP. So we are going to call the complete typing to finish the typing. But who is complete typing? Okay, wait a moment. Complete typing is another method which is addressed later. Okay, let's go to the to page next to check what is complete typing. Complete typing is simple. It just set the current typing character index to the character after the last character. So as you can see that we assign full text length plus 1, and the overall value is written into current character index. But it's weird because there isn't any character, there isn't any symbol on this position. How can we type any character on this position? There isn't any information. You're true. If we set the index to here and try to type, you'll get some error. You'll get some uh, red color error, which is severe error because you are accessing the memory, which is illegal. Nothing is there. So be careful whenever we are in finished state. Um, the current character index is surpassing the last symbol we have. So if if in this situation, if you are still trying to type any character, it will cause an error. Okay, that's it. And after we set the index to an very special position, we are going to transfer into finished state. And then we are going to invoke some subscriber method. If somebody hook the onType complete, and then we're going to help the subscriber to trigger the event. Okay, so that's it. That's it. Complete typing. Very simple. Just assign a current index and just go to the finish state. Let's go back. So whenever somebody is pressing the left mouse button, after we make sure now it's typing and everything is correct, we'll just finish the typing. And then we provide a set strategy API, which can modify the typewriter strategy. So if now you are typing in normal mode, you can call this API and to switch to another new strategy. And next, the start typing method, with the help of start typing, you can initiate the finance state machine and go to the typing state. What I mean initiate is to load the screen, load the text correctly. Let's see the argument. We pass the text as the only dialog text from the script, and we also pass some action, and this is the subscriber method. when you are finished typing, this method should be called. This is a subscriber. And then we initialize the text and the current index and the elapsed time and the on type complete. Everything is ready. And then we go to the typing state. Simple, right? That's it. Right now, the most important switch is over here. A large switch. We always facing a large switch. If you don't like large switch, maybe considering to make a FSM pattern. But now switch is sufficient for us. Let's take a look. Zoom in a little bit. The first state is paused state. As you can see, it do nothing. It just does nothing. Nothing is inside its body. So it's an empty state. And next, we see that the typing state is over here. In order to correctly show the full content. Okay, now in the typing state, every time we just add a little delta time to the elapsed time. And after that, we are going to check whether the elapsed time is greater than 200 milliseconds, namely our typing speed. Actually, this variable should be called the typing interval, not the speed. Sorry about that. Next time I'm going to modify it. Actually, this is a type interval. Okay, no matter. Okay, just get the type speed value and check whether now the elapsed time is greater or equal or not. So if this is the case, if our elapsed time is greater than 200 milliseconds, then we're going to do something. The first thing is to roll back the timer, roll back the elapsed time, and +1 for the current index, because we are going to type the next character. All right, so after we arrange everything, we're going to type the character. So right now, if the current character index is greater than the full text length, that means we are going to finish because this is the last character. Otherwise, we are still typing the most character in the content. All right, if this is the case, we are going to call the process text, which is the red arrow in the diagram over here, because now we just surpassed the interval limit and we want to print one character as the new character onto the screen. So we call process over here. On the other hand, if right now the elapsed time is not reaching the interval, then we are going to call the prepare text. Okay, that's it. Very simple. That is typing. And the last one is the finished. In the finished, we just want to do things for once. So we write our logic in on enter part. We just want to show the whole string onto the screen. So we just call process task. And please be know that this is the important thing. From the local class student, some of the student doesn't aware about the part over here. They forgot to -1 for the current character index in finished. Because before we enter finish, we just push one extra character beyond the string length. There isn't any information. So if we want to print hold the task, hold the text, we have to roll back for one and assign as a length for the text. So this is why we see a -1 over here. And if somebody is a subscriber for this event, we are going to trigger the on-type complete for the subscriber. And we're going to reset the trigger enter over here. Okay, that's it. For the rest part, I should have elaborate each detail before. Complete typing, we introduced that. Oh, this one. The is typing is a check-in function. If somebody willing to know the status of FSM, especially, I want to know whether the FSM is typing or not, then you can call the is typing. Actually, this is a member property. So this is a getter. This is a getter for the member property. It just read whether the state is equal to typing. So if now we are under the typing state, this getter will return a true. That means we are actually typing. Mhm, no problem. So that's everything about the code over here. Oh, we have 4 lines to be added at the last part to take effect the typewriter. We have to go back to the show dialog part. Without typewriter, we just show the text onto the screen. But with the help of typewriter, we can load the typewriter and trigger the start typing. So this is what we listed over here. Just the comment out the original text assignment and then get the typewriter. If you have a typewriter, then enable the typewriter and then start typing. Don't forget to load your content. So that is it. So you're going to see the typewriter effect. We're going to take 10 minutes to finish the call. Okay, this is the first time you integrate so much idea, including the finite state machine, including the structure of typing. So not an easy task, but as you exercise more, you'll get familiar to the core concept of finite state machine. This machine, this is typewriter. Yeah, you ask where should we put the typewriter? Did we mention about that? Oh. It- oh yeah, we should put the typewriter event just on the dialog text. Dialog text.
Hey, this is Hikari.
Does it work properly? Did I forget to box the give it a red box annotation? I should put a red box. Ah, just forget to put a annotation over here. Sorry about that. Mm. Yeah, and get the typewriter effect. Yes. Finally, finally. And we just have 3 minutes left, and let me introduce the concept, just the concept part of the wave typing effect. Okay, so this is the core idea for the wave character typing. We just drop from the top, right? So with the help of the rich text tag, the v offset is one of the rich text tag. So we are trying to utilize this little tag to make some special effect. Let me have an example for everybody. This is really interesting. This is the where's the text over here. So hello. If I surrounding the hello with maybe size and the slash size as a closing tag, so I assign size to be 10. As you can see, size with having a size of 10 is really small. So how about 20, 30, 40, 50, 60? So as you may notice that as the growing of the size, it just sets the size to the surrounding the embraced text over here. Sorry, if I put a world just following the current world following the hello, you'll see that they have two different sizes because the tag will only tag effect to the part which it surrounds. So only hello will have the effect like this. And we have another v offset. V offset is a go back to the. You can see that I use v offset to offset some part of the string. So let me start from 1m, and we have to close the v offsets. Okay, so this is starting for 0.1m, 0.2m, there will be 3m, 4m, 5m, 6m, 7, 8, 9m. And right now the alignment is not correct because for the v offsets to properly aligned, we have to use this alignment, the baseline alignment strategy. So after we switch to the baseline alignment, some interesting effect will take over here. So we starting from 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6. It's just the having some V offset. Of course, you can have -1 and -2 and -3 and so we can use some code to maneuver the actual value over here. So let's go back to the PowerPoint slide. You can see that I didn't write the actual value for a literally declaration. I just write a variable within some math function and combine them together to form a nice equation to get my actual VO cell over here. So I may not have enough time because now we are just on 4 o'clock, and I may need your help when you go back. You can try this wave typing effect. And the most interesting thing is that the GPT can know our structure. So for our structure, the most important design is this one. This one. We can negotiate with ChatGPT and say something about our current design of the strategy. I mean the I-type thread strategy. Once GPT knows the purpose of each of the function, the four function over here, right? Once the GPT understands the purpose of this four function and the signature and the return value, it can generate new effect for you. Definitely, I tried before, and I also tried on the local class. So everybody is trying to use the generated code and it works properly. But sometimes you have to negotiate with GPT how would the effect be, like changing color, you know that. Sometimes when you are playing an adventure game, some important information should be in red or in yellow. So you can write a code to fulfillment the requirement. Or sometimes when the typing is on some important event part, it should just pause for 5 seconds and shake the camera. So you can utilize the typewriter to pause and hold and shake the camera. So this is the purpose of the strategy pattern we put here. Okay, right. So I hope this series of coding will be very interesting for everybody because actually, okay, listen to me. Listen to me. We have two different different designs in a game. One is immersive design, the character controller. The character controller just fulfill your need for immersive design. You can turn it into the first camera view or turning into a third-person camera view, but it gives you a method to implement immersive design. The other design is the UI design. UI design plays a very important thing in game or in some other interactive media. So I know most of the students in this department likes to design UI. The flow will be like this. The first thing is to draw a wireframe. Have you ever drawn a wireframe, UI wireframe? Composed of some simple sketch, black line, and the white paper. All right, that's not so difficult. And you can draw a wireframe and then break down the wireframe into UI element and then make the panel just like the practice over here. Make the panel and then somebody going to write the code to control the panel and then go abstract to write some manager class for it. And that's a standard process. So if you are willing to do such kinds of mobile phone game, you're always starting from a wireframe, implement the panel, write the code, and when you have three different panels, you can form a game by writing some logic. Okay, that's it. Um, Maybe next time this semester we are approaching the end, right? So maybe next time if I'm holding an English class for mobile phone development, we are going to run the whole process. And that time we are going to focus on the MVC structure, just like what you're doing right now, and make a full mobile phone game. Okay. Okay. Sorry for let you to write so many code. Any question? Any problem? Okay, so let's finish it today. If you have any further question, you can contact with me. Oh, right. Sorry. I have write some requirement for the final project. Give me a second, please. But I didn't finish it. But let me have a short discussion with everybody. This time we can up to 3 members per team. Okay, up to 3 members per team. You can negotiate with your classmate and directly form your group um when you have a demo on the demo day. Just show all the member list on your first page. Okay, just show all the member on your first page of your PowerPoint slides. Right, and the requirement this time, don't use any drag and drop plugins. We want to write all the code by ourselves, but you still can use the plugin like JSON. We know that to parse the JSON, you need a plugin, but never use the 3D game kit, nor the inverter, nor some paid plugin. That is for the sophomore and for the freshman year. Now we are third year. Okay, of course, fungus don't use that. Uh, and the second thing is, you should provide a third person perspective. I mean, the camera, the perspective of view should be third person. And the programming section and I suppose to see the following parts in your code: the movement and collision, just like what we implement for the character controller. You don't need to show me the code, just show me the effect, show me the final visual part, the game part, the gameplay. And the second thing is the branching storylines. That's what we are going to do right now. And I mean next time. Uh, and the inventory system. Probably we are not able to introduce a very compact inventory system, but we are still on the pace to talk about the inventory system. And then some independently learned self-learning projects should be implemented, including the NPC or the enemy AI. You can make it by FSM. Definitely, FSM can do the job. And the second thing is some visual effect or animation. Okay, actually, this is not so close related to programming, but we are going to take account as a ranking as a point standard for this project. Okay, like a slashing, like the particle effect, okay, or some special shader, you can consider to use that. Okay, and if you're willing to use some database integrate your project, you'll have an extra 5% point, 5 point to your final project, like SQLite or MongoDB. If you are not sure, you can consult with me. Right now, I think SQLite and MongoDB is a very nice topic for you to self learn, self learning. Okay, and the submission of the deliverable, we need a concept document, a PDF slide. It's about 20 pages, and in the document, you should introduce the game introduction, the title, the high concept, the 500 word for your investor. And what is a high concept? High concept is to use 2 sentences to describe your concept. All right. And some competitor analysis or reference design. Try to find at least 2 competitor or reference and list it onto your document. And the game world design, if you have a game world design, just have an introduction. What is a game building, game setting, character design, accessory, item, weapon, and what is the main storyline? And the task allocation and post-mortem reflections. When you finish the game, please write something. Write about 300 words as a post-mortem reflection for your journey on development of final project. Uh, executable for Windows. Okay, we need to run your project on Windows. If you have an Apple, that is a problem for me because, as you can see, most of the environment is Windows. But if you at any cost just can't find a Windows, contact with me. Okay. All right. And submit the exe file with the required folder, and the file naming should be like this. Okay. For the following part, I'm still managing about the solid content, but right now, does anybody has any question? So far, okay. Three person in a group. Of course, you can form a one-man army. Okay. All right. So That's it. I will go finish the requirement ASAP and upload to the iStudy system. But you can start right now.
Oh, sorry, take it.
I will switch my shoe. Okay.
So, and it's gonna be.
Sorry, you are going to.
I yeah, because I will be in Vietnam like for about like in between Japan, so I think it would be a bit hard for me to like
Already most flight ticket.
yes.
Okay, when is your flight?
So my flight, I would be not here like next week, so like about 2 weeks. I would be here the week before the second, but I think like if you have a two-person project, or more, it's really hard because Unity can be like two like
That means you are going to deliver the everything when you back to Vietnam and deliver online, right?
no like I can be here on the presentation day.
Oh,
I can be on the presentation day,
oh, but
but like I think I would do it alone because like
okay, I see, I see.
it's like hard to communicate with like people when I'm not here like physically.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, just so you know.
So you fly back to Vietnam and fly back to Taiwan and finish the semester,
Yeah.
and then fly back to Vietnam for winter vacation. You from
Yeah.
Vietnam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my friend has a wedding.
Oh, okay, that's important. I see.
Yeah, and like we like good friends, so I need to be there.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Enjoy your trip. Okay.
Okay. So I won't be there next.
Okay, I see, I see. No problem.
There will be like recording from the.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. For each of the course, I will upload to YouTube.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
see you, bye bye. 对不起，我弄一下，收一下。